Welcome back, everybody, to another market day. I am your designated Inquirer, and today is 9/30 of 2020, the last day of September. Oh, third quarter is over, guys. Third quarter is done, is over with. We can kiss that one goodbye. We have survived. We are on to the finish line of 2020. Good riddance, 2020. Okay, I cannot wait to be done with this year. But the worst of it is yet to come, okay? There's a lot of stuff that's going to be happening, all right? Starting tonight, okay? So let's take a look. The VIX right now is in a very interesting place, okay? It's at every point in time. Consistently now, every time when it's gotten down to 25, it has gone up from there, okay? And in true fashion, it came down to 25 and like 10 cents, or 25. Here it says 25 and 6 cents, okay? That was a low. That was a low of today, where the VIX decided to turn around. And or also, it could have gone down a little bit lower if there was still some progress to be made on stimulus negotiations, which I still presume there not to be any actual progress to be made today. That is my presumption. That is my guess, my statistical guess at what's probably going to be happening for the rest of this week. Now, if we get no movement on stimulus negotiations, which again probably will not be, Congress is out, okay? Congress is out, and I think for a good long while, if not the rest of the year, is what I think I heard. And if they're out for the rest of the year and they're basically back home to, you know, fight for their jobs, to beg us to vote them back in and all this other stuff, and then you've got the holidays and everything, well, there's gonna be very little hope to be able to yank them from whatever it is that they're doing to vote on a stimulus package, okay? Because the election is gonna definitively decide who has power and who doesn't. It's going to make the negotiating stance of either or party much stronger, okay? So right now, it does not behoove either Republicans or Democrats to actually do anything, unfortunately. So are we going to see a bill being passed? Probably not. What does that mean? Means what we've already been seeing coming down the pipeline is that we are gonna be having increasing unemployment, okay, from a lot of different places. We had Disney come out today basically saying there's gonna be 28,000 jobs that are gonna be cut, okay? Airlines are gonna be cutting a lot of jobs. Okay, there's going to be a lot of more service sector jobs that ended up taking loans to be able to protect jobs with the time being up until now that can no longer hold on to people. If there were industries that were able to basically make it during this crisis and took money, they're probably going to be able to keep people. Will they be able to keep everybody? Maybe not. And so even if people are making it, there probably might still be a layoff here or there. It could still happen. So it's going to be tough times for a lot of different people really quickly, okay? And depending on when these layoffs start to happen, okay, and you start to see the impact on real-time spending from like the credit cards and stuff, which they're going to be reporting it. They report it on a high frequency basis, basically as close to real time as people can get. You have whether or not reservations are being made, whether or not people are getting evicted, whether or not The consumer sentiment is up or down, whether or not hiring is up or down, whether or not there's more unemployment claims. All of these numbers are going to be in flux from here on out, okay? And depending on where they land and how badly they land is going to determine how fast and how far this market is going to drop. So let's take a look at the NQ, the NASDAQ. Okay, today we saw a run up and a run down. Okay, there was decidedly a pretty large candle wick to the upside. There was a little bit of a candle wick to the downside as well. Okay, from the initial overnight sell-off that we had overseas, because if we take a look at overseas here, okay, take a look at overseas here, we had a pretty good fleeing from the market. Considering what Europe is going through right now, the UK is currently re-shutting down parts of the UK, and it's because of the second wave of coronavirus, and it's another shutdown. Their British pound is in free fall, and if their British pound is in free fall, that means that our dollar is increasing, and if our dollar is increasing, that means that our bonds, while they're getting weaker, they're also going to be going up because people are going to be more fearful, right? Because it's going to make equities cheaper, and as equities get cheaper, the bonds is going to be the thing that people run to try and protect their money, and it's going to drive yield down, and we're going to have cheaper interest rates here for a good solid minute. And so all at the same time, you're going to have Bitcoin, which we did see a decrease today. So from across a few days, we had Bitcoin up at 11,000, and now we're at 10,755, or basically 10,800. Okay, dropped 200 points, but I suspect that we're going to be dropping below that 10 threshold here, not in the not too distant future. Let's take a look at that real fast. /BTC. That's how you look at it. So we're here right now. We've been going as down to this, basically this volume weighted price, okay, and it keeps settling at about the point of control, but from this point on, we're probably going to be seeing it down below this this point of control here. So we're probably going to be visiting at least 10.6, if not 10.3. But zooming out further out, there's no reason why we can't go below 10,000. Basically, to probably 9. I'm thinking 9 is probably where we're gonna go visit here rather soon if the rest of the market also routes. Gold had a very interesting couple days here. Okay. /GC. All right, /GC. Let me go ahead and bring that down so you guys can see it. Gold futures, okay. /GC. Here for the past day, or this run up, even on today, it managed to go up and above this high, and it got to 1,908.20 cents per ounce. Okay, that was the spot price, and it dropped down to 1,890. Okay, so about $20 rather quickly. But the run up was a lot bigger than the run up seen in Bitcoin, and if anything, let's see, while they were both down relatively little, but also Bitcoin didn't go up relatively fast either today, because gold is up 0.24, but Bitcoin is up 0.14%, respectively. But the general markets were down basically about the same amount, 0.44, 0.4, and 0.34 for the NASDAQ, S&P 500, and the Dow Jones, respectively. What we did see here at the end of the day was throughout the entire day, it was a very volatile day. From here, when we started getting sniffing out that there could be some sort of deal, because it kind of had to. If there was any hope or chance to get something done, it was to do it by today. It had to be done by today. It's not getting done today. So are we breaking these levels? Probably. Yeah, we're probably breaking these levels. So from the second that there was a chance, okay, the market took it as it's gonna happen. We need this to happen. If they don't do it, it's an abdication of responsibility. They're gonna abdicate their responsibility. They're gonna punt the football down the field till they have to pick it up. And when they have to pick it up is not until after the election. And even after the election, they're probably gonna drag their feet until after they get it inaugurated in. So we're probably not going to see any progress whatsoever again. I'm reiterating here till January 20th. Okay, that's probably what's going to happen. Probably what's going to happen. Okay, probabilistically. Now, before I eat crow, let me figure out what's happening, because the market's just reopened. So I've got a chance to take a look here and see what's going on. All right, so here we've got, let's see if something happened. Nothing. Press release. Nothing. FAA chief, give thumbs up to 737 max fixes. China's bills gotcha model 10 years. Nothing. Judge extends shield protecting produce. Nope. No news. House delays vote on $2.2 trillion coronavirus bill lacking GOP backing. Second update. House of Representatives postponed a vote as Democrats tried to find common ground with White House on bipartisan agreement, though they remain far apart on key issues. Democratic aides say the delay was to allow the two sides one more day to keep talking before a vote. They're trying to hold on. They're trying to keep hope alive. It's probably not going to happen. So are we going to see as much volatility as we saw today? Earlier on? Yes, we're probably going to see that again. Okay. It is the end of the month here, so there is going to be even more volatility. Okay. So on a monthly basis here, okay, at the beginning of the month, there's the most impetus, there's the most you can set the stage for major movements off of the first initial days of a month. So because the market is starting a new calendar, a new quarter, rebalancing of a lot of different allocations of investments and stuff like that, there's going to be heavy, hard movements. Okay, and because hope is not zero, and it is something, okay, they are taking this as a positive. Okay, so that's what's going on right now. There is some forgiving of PPP loans. That was to be expected. That wasn't necessarily anything new. Google launches new Pixel phones. That part is fine. To reopen more theaters in Michigan and California. That's positive. in general, but is not a major movement in the economy. Yeah, there isn't really a whole lot there apart from hope. The hope spring eternal, okay, for people thinking that something is probably going to happen as far as legislation, which I still don't think there's. I still don't think we have a solid shot at something happening. In any case, we're pretty far away here from this point of control for the month, okay? The lower point of control here is this one, but the more we zoom out, the next portion that we jump to is probably this level here at about 1806, 1810, 1800, sorry, not 1800. At about 1800 is probably where we'd land next. Okay. Considering we've got the rest of the week, I don't think we get there in a couple days. Maybe we get there in a couple days. Who knows? Okay. Considering that tomorrow, or this Friday is the last day to get anything done. Maybe something gets done by Friday, but I don't think so. But it's gonna stay volatile all the way up until Friday, and then Friday at closing, as nothing gets done, the market will probably crash, and then into Monday it will continue for about a couple weeks. But there's probably nothing that's going to stop it this time around, and we're probably going to see the 50 or 60, wherever it is that people will start to feel comfortable, where there's going to be some sort of bottom, and that's going to be a long way down. If nothing happens, if there's no stimulus passed, this is where it gets ugly. This is going to be the Black Monday. However it is that you want to call it, from this Friday to Monday is probably going to be the most volatile weekend in trading in a very long time. Yeah. So, whatever it is that happens, because if they do end up passing something, if they come back over the weekend and they do pass something, it'll be a very spectacular rally at the same time, okay? Should something happen. But again, the political headwinds are strong, okay? There's probably not a whole lot either side can do to actually push something over the edge and past. It is going to be very difficult. So that's where the market stands at the moment, okay? At the very start of this right now, okay, if we go down to the 1 minute, okay, the 1 minute here, we do see that there was a jump here in price, okay? Was an increase in price right here, okay? So this was the jump that I was looking at. All right, this is the jump. Okay, this is where a new month starts and the old one ends. Okay, that's why you see a collapsing of the algorithm about no data and new data that is starting. Okay, see, this is the very same algorithm here because we're starting a month. This is the new data. It's like a new flower, a new plant growing from the ashes and the death of the old one. Okay, it's beautiful. But that's math. In any case, there's a lot of lines that keep running, and those are the averages, the simple averages. Okay, so right now we currently have the 200, the 100, the 50, and the 30. Okay, right now the 30 seems to have crossed over the 50. Okay, it's still got a little bit to go before we can cross over the 100. And before we even prices even visit the 200, okay? There's still a long way to go. But between here and there, we're probably gonna have this 30 past the 100. That's probably gonna be a requirement before we touch the 200, okay? And even then, when we have the 50 cross the 100, we might go further down to where exactly, I'm not exactly sure, to be quite honest. I don't know, unless there's a 300-day moving average. I'm not exactly sure. That somebody might look at. I don't know. But what I do know is that we may this. I mean, they could probably visit this line, maybe. In any case, which it has gone below before, which is actually pretty amazing. But yeah, this is where we're at. Let's see here. Is there any? Oh, this was gold. All right, let's take a look at it again. I mean, the relative progress is more or less the same. Here we see that increase again. Let's go back to the monthly. Okay, we still have these two bars right here, basically showing negative movement, negative signs. Okay, we are still overbought on the monthly. On the weekly, we are still crossed over. Okay, we are no longer in the overbought, but we have ways to go before we get to oversold. And this jump right here actually makes it more difficult still. We probably have a longer way to go now because this happened. Because now the clock kind of starts from here. When we move down some more, this bar and this algorithm, how it's going to work out is it's going to have to straighten out first and then drop. So this run up right here, this dead cat bounce right here, is probably the thing that's gonna, is probably gonna ensure that the next leg down is quite severe, because we're not even in negative momentum yet on the weekly. Okay, we've barely just crossed streams. These two lines right here have barely just crossed over. On the daily, we are in negative momentum. We did get a positive signal, but is it sustainable? Maybe, maybe not, because we are now in negative momentum territory on the daily, which is very important. And when we get to oversold, it's very possible that we stay oversold for at least a day, if not a couple days. And even then, it's not going to signal necessarily the very bottom of something, because it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to see exactly what level's the bottom. We did make this this measure right here that probably this decrease in total volume could be the thing that tells us. Go over to right now. This, I still feel like this was an anomaly. I'm not exactly sure what happened there, but right now we are still currently at 62%. We haven't yet landed at 70% yet. Okay, 70%. I look still lower than that. We'd have to fall somewhere here. Okay, we'd have to fall below that, and then we might, those levels might be about where we're done for a period of time, maybe. Okay, but considering what we're seeing right now with an increase in volume, we may be seeing substantially higher volume right now on the way down. You may see a reinvigoration of volume. That could be what happens. So that's the daily chart. 2 hour right now, we do have a buy signal. You have negative signal before that. We never got to overbought again. which can happen. It happened before, but not on this go around. But we're not too far away from getting into negative momentum, and if we do that, it's going to be more an easier time to go negative faster. Okay, this type of decline is going to be easier because we're starting the decline from a lower point. Okay, we're pretty close here to this to the distinction between positive and negative momentum. This distinction is super important because if we fall hard like we did here, it's not going to stop where this stopped here. This is the stopping point is going to be a lot lower when this is all said and done, because we're going way into negative momentum territory. Kind of like how during here it can go down lower and faster a lot quicker and stay down low and fast. Okay, and it's harder for it to get back into positive momentum. So just fair warning. Bear the warning. It's going to be hard to say that the foreign markets are going to have any sort of patience for our political shenanigans, given what they saw last night, and what they fully expect now from our governing body. So that should be fun to listen to, because it's always interesting to hear what other countries think of us. In any case, that is the end of the video for today. Thank you guys very much for watching. I did send a PSA submission with a bunch of cards. Those cards happen to be, let's see if partially these right here. Okay, it's a little bit smaller. Let me scooch over right there. There we go. So that's one part of the submission. Okay, all of these went. All of those went. Okay, and then I have here. Let's see. 18. Those went. Those two went. Okay. A lot of different cards from a lot of different eras. This one's from Evolutions, which is fairly modern but still expensive. This is from the Team Rocket expansion. This is a first edition Hollow Dragonite. Two from the original base set. One is from, these two are from base set 2. Okay, these were released in 2000. Okay. Generally you see the last year that they were released here at the bottom. So this was base set 2, released in 2000. These are the originals, okay? Because it shows right here 99, but Shadowless right here will have 99 right here as well, okay? And they'll have no shadow along the edge right there. This one right here is shadowless, because here you can see a shadow, here there's no shadow. The thing about this card right here also is that, if you guys did not know, there are some cards that can have a light first edition stamp on them. And it was a stamp. It was a separate process to put on the stamp than to actually print the entire card. So sometimes you can even have a stamp, first edition stamp on the back of a different card because of how the cards were processed. But here, sometimes if they were running out of ink on that stamp, it would basically, these are now considered gray stamps by collectors. It is in a form an error that people collect, and it is more rare. So that was the entire stack of cards that I sent off to grade. So stay tuned. It's probably going to be 7 months till I get those back, but between here and then there's going to be a lot more content about cards, about collecting, about all those things. And if you want to join me for live grading, where I basically tell you how I go about qualifying separate cards, okay, whether or not they are shadowless or not, okay, whether or not they're shadowless, okay. Green gets invisible here, so you see right through them on those portions right there, but when I take off that filter, you can see them clear all the way through. I have gotten a little bit into sports cards as well. That's a signed Pat Leahy card, which I may or may not send off to go get graded. I'm not exactly sure. But in any case, that is the end of the video. That is the end of today. If you guys want to see all that kind of content here and there, please do like and subscribe. But until next time, please stay safe, stay healthy, wear your masks. I'll want to see you guys for many years to come. And yeah, till then, take care. Bye.